Okay. Now, I have already told to all of you quite a few times, right, that this subject cannot be taken, should not be taken as, getting the passing marks of examination, because this is going to be an insightful subject where you will have to do some practice, because passing marks might not be very much difficult for you to gather. But what will be more important for you to exactly understand that how to use various functions which are, advanced level functions of Excel for the various tasks. Now, that is something for which you are required to put the efforts. Knowledge is not free. You must pay the attention for that. Let's move ahead, and we would go to the Excel file of hyperlinking. The best thing about this online session is that you don't get any disturbance from the students. Oh my God, that's the best thing anyone can get. Though I have the control over the students when it comes to disturbance, but now it's like हमें बोलना पड़ता है भाई तू कुछ बोल, पहले हमें शांत रखना पड़ता था, मत बोल भाई मत बोल. Okay, now here we are. We were there into this particular worksheet. Now let me delete. I had applied some macros. You people might not have it. I'll tell you what is the requirement. Now yesterday we had created only the sum function by using the macro. You people are already aware about the fact that macro is something which automate our tasks, which reduces our efforts. Macro आलसी लोगों के लिए बना हुआ है. एक ही प्रकार के टास्क आपको घड़ी घड़ी करने होते हैं, तो एक्सेल को आप बता देते हो कि भाई तू ये रिकॉर्ड कर ले. मैं हर बार करने वाला नहीं हूं, मैं तो आलसी हूं. So we may start doing some work over here in the January section in the worksheet, and the same work we want in other worksheets as well. But again, I do not want to repeat this. I will not be doing and and spending some more time to do these repetitive tasks. So I would just tell it to the Excel that Mr. Excel, you will have to start recording. So here we want so many things, like we want the maximum, we want minimum, we want some conditional formatting to be used, we want to do hell many number of things over here, right? And I do not have the time to do it in each and every worksheet. That's the real problem. That's where this entire macro starts. Okay, so before we start doing any tasks, you must observe that from where you are starting, right? Because that relative referencing will be used by the macro, and accordingly the task would be performed. Say for example, if you are starting from here, that is cell number C39, then you must acknowledge the fact that if you are using the sum, then it will take the range which will be just the 2 cells above the results you have started to get. So accordingly, everywhere else the data will be calculated. Okay, let's start doing it. Now you people are already aware about the recording of macro. Let me use the magnifier. Now when I start use the magnifier, start using this magnifier, at that time I get too many troubles, यार. Because then मुझे पता नहीं चलता कि मैं कौन सा वाले सेल में हूँ, क्योंकि मैं ऐसे चला गया तो मुझे अब मालूम नहीं कि मैं कौन सा वाले सेल में हूँ, ऐसे चला गया तो मालूम पड़ता है. तो इसके कारण मैक्रो है ना कई बार उल्टे सीधे हो जाते हैं. तो कोई बात नहीं.
Excuse me, sir.
ये तो
Sir, if you are facing problem with this magnifier, it's okay. We can adjust by zooming in our screen.
okay, good, that's fine.
Because, sir, the task should be completed anyways. We will adjust it.
Okay, fine, very good.
Okay.
So let me, I have a different ऑप्शन. अपने पास दूसरे भी ऑप्शन, अपन जूम में मैं भी इधर से कर सकता हूँ ना, तुम्हें क्यों करने की जरूरत है? मैग्नीफायर तो इसलिए करते हैं क्योंकि वो माइन्यूट डिटेल्स मालूम पड़ा ना कि ये अब मैग्नीफायर किसके लिए मालूम है? ये तुमने जूम इन किया ना, तो ये नंबर्स तो जूम इन हो गए. अब ये ऊपर वाले टैब किधर है? कोई कोई देखेगा कि सर वो इंसर्ट किधर है, वो व्यू किधर है, वो व्यू में कौन सा वाला ऑप्शन सिलेक्ट करना था, वहां पे मैग्नीफायर करना पड़ता है. कोई बात नहीं, चलो करते हैं. दैट्स द नाइस कॉम्प्लीमेंट आई हैव रिसीव्ड. Okay, so we should start recording it now. I'm going to the view tab over here, and in view we would go to the macros, and from there we would start recording. And before that, you must check that your use relative references is checked. I mean, it must be highlighted one. If it is highlighted one, that means it has been checked. So it's there highlighted one. I guess they're in a gray color in my case. Now I would start recording the macro. Let me zoom out from the magnifier. Now I will start recording the macro. Okay, now I'm giving the name to the macro. And say, for example, you are doing so many types of works over here. So I'm just giving the name, say arithmetic. So, or I may give a name like analysis of data. And you must ensure that there is no space in between. Analysis of data, or whatever the name you want to give. आपकी मर्जी, मैं कौन होता हूँ आपको? Anyone want to say something, beta? Beta, I'm not able to hear you because of some reasons. Some voice is getting. Voice is not coming. Is everyone able to hear her? I'm not able to listen it properly. I guess no one is able to listen you, Himja. I'm sorry. I guess there would be some problem from your side. Please check it and let me know. Yes, true. We had faced the issue, लेकिन उसका हमने तोड़ निकाल लिया है. Don't worry. मैं कह रहा हूँ ना आपको, चलो शुरू करते हैं. So we are starting with this, pressing OK. हम थोड़ी ना एक की एक गलती हर बार करेंगे. इस बार तो हम एक्सेल को हम उसको उल्लू बना देंगे. उसने हमें लास्ट टाइम स्टक किया था, हम उसको स्टक कर देंगे इस बार. Okay, so pressing OK. Now if you want to give a shortcut to it, you can, else you may just ignore it. Description, if you want to give that what are the tasks you are going to perform in this macro. If you will not be able to recall it, भुलक्कड़ लोग हो आप लोग, तो फिर description में लिख दो कि क्या किया था. And now I'm pressing OK. Now I'm writing first of all the sum over here, SUM, right? And over there, I would first do the summation of all this number of branches given to me. First, I will do the summation of Singapore branch, so SUM, opening the bracket. And then I would be selecting the range of the data right from the first to the last one. Now closing the bracket, pressing enter. Right, so that is the sum we have done. Then we would also copy this formula and paste it over here, but you must observe that the range of the data is coming same because we have given the name to the range of the data and Excel is not changing that range. So what we will do is we will again do the sum, SUM, opening the bracket, and we would start it from Bangalore to the last one, whatever the entries we have. We have done the summation of it. Everyone would be doing it very slowly and steadily along with me. Now you can copy and paste this formula because now the name range is not given, So you would have the different results for all of this. I would do it for all the branches, including the totals. So these are the various sales entries we have got for various branches. Now some people would come to me and say that, sir, सिर्फ सम नहीं चाहिए, हमें यह भी चाहिए कि हर एक का मैक्सिमम वैल्यू क्या है वो भी बताओ आप. तो मैं तो रेडी हूं बताने के लिए, मैं बताऊंगा, कोई बात नहीं. चलो बेटा, मैक्सिमम, so equal to max, opening the bracket. Then I would select the range of the data to find the maximum. So the first range I have selected, closing the bracket, pressing enter. And I cannot copy it because there is a name range given, right? So I need to again enter the formula of max in the next one. Closing the bracket, pressing enter, and I would be copying this formula for all this number of branches. So I have the max written. Now I would also require the minimum. Say for example, for that we have the formula starting with min equal to min. So it's min, not mean, like you guys are. Let me start selecting this, closing the bracket, pressing enter. And in the same manner, I'll have to do it over here, because see, I cannot copy that because there is a range name given. I would be again inserting that. So closing the bracket, pressing the enter. And now I can copy and paste these formulas everywhere else, the rest of the entries. Now, some people would be like, sir, average भी करी दो ना, min max किया है तो फिर क्या बाकी रखते हो? तो चलो कोई बात नहीं, अब एवरेज की बारी ले लेते हैं. इक्वल टू AVE RAGE. अब एवरेज का AVG नहीं है, उसका फुल फॉर्म डालना है. So I'm selecting the range of the data right from the first to the last one. I would have to insert it again. And now I can copy and paste it to all other cells. Okay. Then some people would be like, sir, after that, you will also have to conditional format the top 10 entries in the first column. I'm repeating my task, that we want to highlight the top 10 entries in terms of values in the first column. So that is also part of our macro, and that we want to get for all this number of worksheets we have got. No. So that is also something which we want to automate, you know. So what we'll do is we will go to the home tab. From there, you must be able to find the conditional formatting. Then there is something called top to bottom rules. And from here, I can go to top 10 items. And before that, I am required to select the data as well. So sorry. So I would be selecting first the Singapore cells, all this number of years, excluding the heading, because heading obvious, excluding the total, otherwise wo bhi aa jayega. So first, once it is selected, then I can go to the home tab, then conditional formatting, then top 10 items. From there, I would be selecting whatever the format which suits my requirements. Say I want the formatting to be done in the yellow color for all this number of 10 entries, pressing OK. And you must have observed that the bottom 10 entries are highlighted, because bottom 10 in terms of, you know, arrangement are the top 10 too in terms of values. Okay, now I'm coming over here in this particular cell. Now macros is recording everything what we are doing. जब कोई आपकी हर एक चीजें रिकॉर्ड करता हो तो थोड़े से सावधान हो जाइए. तो हम भी सावधान हो गए. अब हम फिर से जाएंगे मैक्रोज में, and we would now stop recording the macro. So now I would tell it to the Excel, okay, thank you very much, bye bye, take care, sayonara. That's it from your side. Stop recording. Excel would be like, कितने मीन लोग हो तुम, मेरी जरूरत खत्म तो कट लिए. So now we have done so many tasks over here, you know, and we want to do it again and again for all this number of worksheets. So you must observe that from where we started. So the range of the data that we started applying was from here, and the names we had started writing was from here, right? So we may start it, and we may, use this macro, and you must ensure that wherever the formulas are applied, no, there has to be only 2 cells of gap. So where you are pasting this macro, you must ensure that only the 2 cells gap is there when you are running this macro. So say I want to run this macro in the month of March, where already few entries are there, so I'm deleting that. Okay, so I'm going to cell number C39, because from there only you have the gap of 2 cells, because from here the formula started applying. And now I can run the macro, and let's see that what do we get as a result. So here I'm going over there in a view tab, and then in a view tab I'm going to the macro, then view macro. Then what was the name we had given? I guess we had given a name of analysis of data. That was the first one, right? Now, oh my god, we have done so many works. इम्तिहान की घड़ी आ गई है. अपने श्वास को ऊपर कर लीजिए, थोड़ा सा बीपी है उसको कम कर दीजिए, कोई बात नहीं. Press run. And you have many congratulations. You have all this entry pasted over here in the March month. Your work of 15 to 20 minutes has been reduced to just few seconds. I am going to the April. Now in April too, I must ensure that there must be the 2 cells of gap, 2 cells gap when I am running this macro. My formula started applying in sum from here. So this is the 2 cells, cell number 1 and cell number 2. So from here I should start running the macro. Then I can go to the view, then macro, view macro, analysis of the data, and run it. And many congratulations, you have done it again. And here the top 10 entries are different, so it has taken the top 10 entries differently. You may check it in April. So I mean bottom 10 were not the top 10s in this case, right? That's how it is. May I have a confirmation from the students that they are able to do this? Once it is done, they may.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Now, last time we had faced the problem was because, you know, we had the name range defined for that. और एक चिंदू सा छोटू सा प्रॉब्लम के कारण हमारा मैक्रो अटक गया, वरना ये हमारा लास्ट लेक्चर में ही हो जाता. कोई बात नहीं, चलो. हाउ मेनी कंफर्मेशन? यस मिस्टर अक्षत, बताइए बेटा.
सर आपने अभी में जनवरी का डेटा आ रहा है आपके मैक्रो में.
किधर है मैक्रो में जनवरी का डेटा बेटा? वो है ना, सम सिर्फ जनवरी का लेगा, बाकी सब बाकी उसके मंथ के ही है. देखो वो सम जनवरी का क्यों ले रहा है मालूम है? वो जो कल हमने प्रॉब्लम किया था ना, वो ये क्योंकि वो सम का जो रेंज है वो रेंज डिफाइंड है ना, एक्सपोर्ट ऑफ जैन. बाकी सबका सेम ही ले रहा है, उसका ही ले रहा है. देखो चेंज हो रहा है सबका. पहले वाला जो ये है ना उसमें जनवरी का लेगा, क्योंकि वहां पे जो हमने रेंज दे के रखा है उस रेंज को नाम दे के रखा है. उस रेंज का नाम मैं निकाल भी दूं ना तो भी क्या प्रॉब्लम है मालूम? मैंने उस रेंज को 5 से 6 बार नाम दिए हुए हैं तो ये नहीं तो कोई और नाम पकड़ेगा वो. और नाम मैंने इसलिए रखे थे क्योंकि वो हाइपरलिंकिंग सिखवाया था इसी फाइल के ऊपर तो आपको है ना फर्स्ट वाला इग्नोर करना है, ये वाला. बाकी सब आप देखो वो सेम ही है, चेक कर लो एक बार.
ओके सर.
ठीक है. So how many confirmations I have received? From Neha, from Himja, and from Ayushi. From Chelsea too. Good. Average are wrong. Sir, you have used max in the average. Okay, let me check it. No, I haven't used the max in the average. Oh yes, I have used the max in the average. Got it. Fine, you could have used the average over there. That's also fine. So what is the learning from this is that we can automate our tasks based on the record we kept by using the macros. Now हम तो और भी आलसी लोग हैं, हम यहाँ पे रुकने वाले लोग नहीं हैं. हमें लगा कि यार ये पूरा है ना वो मेरे को फिर मैक्रो रन करना, उससे अच्छा एक काम करते हैं, अपने ना एक ऐसा बटन बनाते हैं, वो बटन को तुम जैसे ही प्रेस करो ना तो मैक्रो अपने आप कुछ कर दे। मतलब जो तुम्हें टास्क करने हैं ना, वो बटन में प्रेस करो तो वो टास्क अपने आप हो जाए। तो ऐसा एक ऑटोमेटेड बटन बनाना है। मैं बता रहा हूँ, जो बटन यहाँ पे सब से फॉर एग्जांपल ऐसा एक मैं बटन बना हूँ यहाँ पे, और ऐसा एक बटन हो, जैसे ही मैं उसके ऊपर क्लिक करूँ ना तो मेरा मैक्रो रन हो जाए। ऐसा कुछ करना हो तो कैसे करें? अब इसके लिए बेटा, to do this thing, you must have the developer tab in your Excel, and if it is not there, there is nothing to worry. You can add the developer tab in the Excel from the options. How? I'm telling this to you. So I'm using the magnifier. Now that macro is recorded in this workbook, so wherever in any kind of a worksheets you want the same functions to be performed, you will be just running that macro, nothing else. But just remember, and it was asked to you in the description too. You can edit the description right now too, that from where you will have to run this macro. If you'll be forgetting that, then your answers might go wrong. So you may write in description whatever the things you have done in the macro, from where you should start it, all such sort of things. Okay, so if the developer tab is not there, then what you can do is you can go to the file section. From that file section, you can go to the last, that is the options tab. And in options, you must be able to see there is one option called customize ribbon. You can click on that. And in customized ribbon, please ensure that you have on right hand side something called developer. And if it is not there on right hand side, then you will find it from the left hand side. Somewhere it must be there. In a developer must be found over there somewhere. I'm clicking over here. All tabs I'm getting. And choose commands from, I'm selecting the all tabs. And from here, you must be able to see the developer. And click on it and edit. So it goes to the right hand side. And once it goes to the right hand side, then you'll have to tick over there. So I have this many number of tabs in my Excel. So that's, I am customizing my entire ribbon area, I want the developer tab too. Now developer tab is used by all the people who want to develop, you want to develop certain things. You want to use the virtual basic assistant who wants to do some programming and coding. But we would be requiring some aspects of it. So that's why we are clicking on that. And once you click on the developer, then you will have to press OK here. And once you press OK, you must have the developer tab inserted next to the help menu. Once the developer tab is there, you may just confirm that to me through the chat box so that I can move ahead. All of you. Okay, so from Akshat and from Himja, we have received the confirmation. Others I'm waiting. Neha too, good. Everyone do it quickly. Mr. Preet too, good to see that. Okay, once the developer tab is inserted, then you will have to first fix that where you want this button to be pressed. Say I want this button to be pressed over here in this, or at this place in an indexed file, indexed worksheet. And wherever I'll be clicking on that button, then some automated tasks would be done. I wanted to search that macro again and again. उसमें भी आलसी बोलो अपन, एक तो मैक्रो इतना काम करता है, हम वहां पे भी आलस कर रहे हैं कि नहीं वो भी नहीं करना है, मेरे को वो मैक्रो फाइंड भी नहीं करना है, मेरे को तो इधर बटन डालना है, जैसे मैं बटन प्रेस करूं वो हो जाना चाहिए बस। तो अब सर इसके लिए क्या करे? तो डेवलपर टैब जैसे ही आपके पास क्रिएट हो जाता है बेटा, then you can go to, in the developer tab, you must be able to see something called insert over here in the controls. There is something called insert. And if you click on that insert, then you have the various kinds of a tab, kinds of a button which you can insert, and that would be your controlling commands, from where you can do some automated tasks. So let me just select the first one, which is this button. So I'm clicking on that, and now this kind of a mouser gets converted. So you will have to draw your buttons, that what will be the width of it, what will be the length of it, that would be decided by you now. Say I want that button to be created over here, so I am creating the button over here with the mouse click, and that button is created. The moment button is created, there is another tab that is getting appeared, that is assign macro. Assign macro is the tab dialog box that gets appeared to you. Now we would be creating a different macro for this, right? Say whenever I'll be clicking on this particular button, I want a new worksheet to be opened. I do not want to use the button which is given by the Excel, I want this button somewhere over there. I'm just giving you the example for your reference, that whenever I'll be clicking on that button, no new worksheet would be opened, as simple as that. So what I'll do is, I'll start recording it, a new macro. And before that, I need to give a name as well. So let me give the name, new worksheet. Then you can start recording the macro. It's not accepting the name. Say new worksheet new. So whatever the name you are giving, just remember that you are giving the name like this. Then pressing OK. Now you must have observed that you are nowhere right now. But no, you are not nowhere. You must see that in the view tab, if you go to the macros, it's recording. See, it's recording. हमारे ऊपर वो ऐसे सीसीटीवी कैमरा की तरह बैठ गया, हमारा रिकॉर्ड कर रहा है पूरी मूवमेंट वो. अपन हम क्या करेंगे मालूम है, अपन है ना इधर जाके अपना जो वर्कशीट है ना, उसको एक बार एक्सेल को बता देंगे कि ये जो है ना, इसके ऊपर क्लिक करते हैं तो देयर इज अ न्यू वर्कशीट गेट्स ओपन. So we would be clicking over here in this. So there you must have observed that a new worksheet would have opened. Not yet. Let me do it again. The new worksheet has opened. And now we would go to the view tab again. Then in macros, we would stop recording. So recording has been stopped. So we have told it to the Excel that whenever I click on that button, then the new worksheet must be inserted. So now let me check it. If I click on this button, yes, a new worksheet is open, worksheet number 5. If I again go over there in the index, if I click on this button, again a new worksheet is inserted. So it's like automatic. You have at the description. Rather than that, you can have a button of it over here. Has everyone got that? May I have a confirmation through the chat box again, please? Good. So Himja has done it, Dhara has done it, Neha too, Mr. Akshat too. Good to see that. So we have a good number of students who have done it. Miss Vedangi too. Good. Hey, one thing I have observed that the people who are communicating a lot in the batch number B have suddenly stopped communicating, interacting. I don't know why. When there was a different batch for them, they were so interactive. The moment they are coming together, they have stopped. I don't know why this pattern is there. I need to analyze this pattern. Okay. So now the tasks would be given from my side. You people would be doing the same. Let me give you some task. And the task is that whenever I click on one button, then I want few details to be there in a new worksheet. The moment I click that button, those details will be there in a new worksheet. Say, for example, you are working in a supermarket store. say you are owning that supermarket store. If I'll be putting the word working, then some people would be like, sir, हम क्यों काम करें, हम तो owner होंगे, कोई बात नहीं, तुम owner हो बेटा, ठीक है? Now, at every point of time, you want to create some invoice. The moment you click on one button, then then the new invoice would be created in a new worksheet. Now, every point of time, you cannot create the invoice, right? And every time, if you have some invoice format, then copying that invoice format and then pasting it over here, then it would be too much difficult for you to do so. So I want one invoice to be created where some details are there, and the particulars are mentioned, and the invoice can be customized once that new worksheet is open. Say one customer comes to me, I would be clicking on that button. A new invoice format is generated in a new worksheet, and over there I'll be doing some task. That's just an example I'm giving to you. There are various other ways too. Invoice can be created within this work file only. Or for invoice, you may create a different workbook too. Now, that is not something which we'll be going right now. I hope you have understood my point correctly, that whenever I click on that button, one invoice must be opened in a different worksheet, and I want few details over there in the invoice. So I am also starting along with you. You can also do it. I am removing these worksheets which are not required. Okay, so you must have observed now how to remove this button. That is also the problem. No, sir. So what you can do is you can have a right click over there, then press escape key. And once this dots gets appeared, then you may just simply put the delete. जैसे delete करो बटन हो गया गायब, बटन को हो गया टाटा बाय बाय सी यू. अब अपन दूसरा बटन क्रिएट करते हैं. तो सर उसके लिए क्या करना है? सबसे पहली चीज, स्टेप बाय स्टेप, यू मस्ट go to the developer tab, and in developer tab you would go to the insert controls. From there, whatever the button which suits your requirement, you may select as per your requirement. I'm doing it again the second, and now I need to give the length and width of it. So say I want that button to be placed over here, so I am doing it by a mouse click. And the moment you do this, one particular box gets appeared that is assign macro. Now let me give a name to it. So I'm giving the name as invoice. Let me use that name only, invoice, right? Then we would be recording this, because see, there is no macro which is recorded already. Now that is also possible, that if you have already recorded macro, then you may select it from all the macros which are given to you, and you may just press OK from here after selecting that. So that button will be assigned to that macro. So which macro you want to assign to which button, that also can be done, right? So I'm recording another macro for this. So start recording. Invoice is the name. Control, we do not want to give anything for that, because anyway there would be a button for this. And let's start recording it now. Press OK. And you must observe that in the view tab in macro section, the recording has been started. So now we can go to, first of all, in the recorded macro, we want to open a new worksheet. So पहला टास्क तो हमारा ये है भैया कि अपन न्यू वर्कशीट को ओपन करते हैं. इधर से जाके न्यू वर्कशीट को ओपन किया, ठीक है. और यहाँ पे हमें कुछ डिटेल चाहिए, तो जो भी डिटेल्स चाहिए वो लिख लेते हैं. Say for example, we want first is the customer name, right? And you can increase the size of it like this. Then say for example, you require a detail like customer ID, right? Then say third detail you require about commodities purchased. Let me increase the size of it. Right? And then say for example the total amount. अपन अभी बहुत सिंपल कर रहे हैं क्योंकि अपने पास ये सब चीजों के लिए टाइम नहीं है. व्हाट इज मोर इम्पोर्टेंट इज टू हाउ टू रन द मैक्रो. So I'm just giving you the examples. Total amount. Okay, so say these 4 entries are required and let me give the borders and such sort of things too. So I'm giving the borders to this. You may use the shortcut key. All the shortcut keys in Excel starts with the key of Alt. So these are sequential in nature. So Alt को आप press करके बंद कर देना है. Once Alt is pressed, then you can go to H. Once you press H, then you will have to press B. Then you'll have to press A to all borders. So Alt H B A, all borders are applied. This cell must be filled with the yellow color. So I'm selecting all these 4 cells and I'm going to the home tab and I'm selecting the color yellow. Right? And the total amount, say for example, this must be highlighted bold. So I'm doing Control B to bold it. And here, say for example, I want a color something like this, whatever the color of your choice is. And this is the invoice format which I want to prepare whenever I'll be clicking on that button. Now, once it is done, then you may tell it to the Excel by Rook. Oh, bhai Excel, इधर बहुत हो गया तेरा नाटक. अब एक काम कर, अब हमें और कुछ नहीं चाहिए, रिकॉर्डिंग करना बंद कर दे. So we would stop recording now. Clear? So Excel has recorded. What is the first thing that it has recorded? First thing is new worksheet. The second thing which is recorded by the Excel is invoice. In the new worksheet too, such kind of an invoice would be prepared. The moment you click on that button, this entire format must be visible to you. Now that button is there over here, button number 2. You click on it, a different worksheet is open, and over there you find the same invoice. So every point of time, whenever you will be requiring this particular invoice format, you would just be pressing on that button and everything would be done by the Excel automatically. You won't have to do it again and again. तो हमें Excel ने क्या कर दिया? आलसी बना दिया. और हम तो है ही. May I have a confirmation from the students that they have got the same results? Are they able to do it along with me? Good. We have received from Mr. Akshat too, from Chelsea too, good, from Neha. From Himja too, good. Mr. Parth as well, Mr. Akshay. Very good, Miss Vedangi too. So I hope others would have got this too. Now the crux you should remember, now macros can become as complicated as you want, you know. So many things can be done over here in this, but we have other functions too to be covered up, because now I have given you the light, you know, and my light is just reaching, say for example, up to 200 meters. Now I have given you the light itself. तो आपके पास वो लाइट आ गई है. अब आप क्या करोगे? उस लाइट को आगे आगे 200 मीटर से 400 मीटर तक जाओगे, फिर चलते चलते 600 मीटर तक जाओगे, क्योंकि मेरा काम है आपको उंगली पकड़ के एक बार चलना सिखाना. फिर जैसे ही आप मेरे बच्चे से उठ के खड़े होके फिर उंगली पकड़ के चलना शुरू कर देना, फिर मैं बता दूंगा कि तू 2 बार गिरेगा, फिर तू खड़ा होगा, फिर वैसे वैसे आप करते जाना. आप तो मैक्रोस को और एक्सप्लोर आप करना, दैट इज द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी आई एम गिविंग टू यू. मैंने जो हेल्पिंग हैंड था ना, वो उंगली पकड़ के ले जाने वाला, वो आपको दे दिया. नाउ one function called solver hyperlinking, 2-3 functions are remaining, so that would be done tomorrow in the 2 lectures. And if you want some homework tasks for this, I may give it to you right now, but I think you should be designing your homework task as per your requirement. But what I'm trying to say is that please keep practicing these things. This subject is of the practice. I mean, आपको अभी बहुत सी सारी चीजें आ गई होगी, लेकिन जैसे ही थोड़ा समय चला जाएगा ना बेटा, फिर बहुत सारी चीजें भूल जाओगे, आपको मालूम ही नहीं पड़ेगा कि सर वो पहला स्टेप क्या किया था, भूल गए। तो इसके टच में रहना, जब भी आपके कोई नए नए सब्जेक्ट्स आते हैं, कुछ नए नए डेटा आते हैं, तो उसको एक्सेल में करके थोड़ा सा कीड़ा अपना जो अंदर का रहता है ना, उसको थोड़ा सा जागरूक अवस्था में रखना। जो एक्सेल का कीड़ा है ना, उसको सोने नहीं देना, ठीक है, उसको जागरूक अवस्था में रखना। कहीं भी डेटा है ना, तो आपको मन होना चाहिए, लो तो सर कुछ करते हैं इसमें, तो वो अप्रोच और एक एटीट्यूड बिल्डअप हो जाएगा ना, फिर तो आप कहीं पे नहीं रुकोगे। So this is more about doing the practice on continuous basis. Anyway, so sharing the attendance with you in a minute. I hope you people would have enjoyed this. Google Forms. Okay, so for tomorrow, 2 sessions of Excel, 1 session of FM, and that would be the end from us. ऐसा लग ही नहीं रहा है कि हम अंत तक पहुंच गए और आप लोगों से मैं मिला भी नहीं हूं एक बार भी। ऐसा कम बार होता है ना कि आप फैकल्टी से मिले ही नहीं हो, लेकिन पूरे पूरे 2 सब्जेक्ट उनसे सीख लिए। होता है, क्या करें, कोरोना ने सिखा दिया हमें सब कुछ।
लेकिन सर आपकी वाइब्स तो पहुंच रही है ना, वो हमारे लिए बहुत है।
और उसमें भी ये जो एक वो बॉडी लैंग्वेज, मेरे जेस्चर्स, मेरे इमोशंस, मेरे पोस्चर्स, ये जो मालूम पड़ते हैं ना, तो कुछ रंग अलग ही होता है, तो कुछ कनेक्शन अलग ही बिल्डअप होता है।
हाँ
आप
सर,
तो
हमने
मुझे
सीनियर से सुना है, शाहरुख खान के बहुत बड़े फैन हो।
हैं शाहरुख खान के? हाँ
यस
बेटा
सर,
था।
आई हर्ड फ्रॉम दिस फ्रॉम सीनियर्स एंड रूममेट्स।
यस, वो तो बात है, अभी समय गया, वो बहुत बड़े फैन थे किए। एंड द सिमिलर लाइंस, आई एम ओपनिंग दिस अटेंडेंस। डीडीएलजे, दिल वाले दुल्हनिया ले जाएंगे, दैट वाज सीन बाय अस फॉर एटलीस्ट 8 to 10 times इन मराठा मंदिर दादर। डीडीएलजे अभी बंद हो गया तो मालूम नहीं, लेकिन पिछले 3-4 साल तक 1994 में शायद वो रिलीज हुई थी, तब से लेके 2017 तक, कुछ 18 तक चली वो। आपका मालूम नहीं है कि अभी क्या है, मराठा मंदिर रन कर रहा है कि नहीं, लेकिन सुबह रोज उसका डीडीएलजे का शो रहा करता था। So you can go to the chat box and from there you may file your attendance. Once it is done, then we may disperse from the lecture. Bye bye, take care, sayonara, enjoy the rest of the day. See you all tomorrow with the rejuvenated yourself version of yours. 2 लेक्चर और 3, एक एफएम का और 2 इसके, और तीनों में we want the maximum attendance, right? Take care.